Welcome back to the 19th hole. Jake Parry here, joined as always by Keith Flemming. We have a fun tournament to talk about from last week, fun upcoming tournament, and just want to continue to give shout outs to our favorite family, the IBT Golf family. The IBT Golf family is our free to join way to gain access to our chats, memorabilia giveaways, contests, and for $3.99 a month or $36 for the year, you gain full access to our exclusive betting model as well as our weekly betting cards. We're up almost 160 units on the year, so having a great year overall. I want to continue to keep that going through the rest of the 2026 season. And if PGA is just something that you're getting into, it's something newer for you, but you're a big fan of football, you're a big fan of NASCAR or the other racing series, you are a big fan of entertainment and betting on Rotten Tomato scores and who's going to win movie awards and music awards like I am, you get access to all of these families with that membership. So if you're interested in joining, make sure to check out inbetween.com/chat, in-betweenmedia.com/chat, sorry, or check out the link in the episode description and you can gain access there. But Keith, why don't you say, let's not waste any time and give the people a little bit of recap of the St. Jude. Yeah, Scottie knows.
Who's back?
Everybody
back
says
again.
Scottie doesn't know, but Scottie knows how to win, at least. Scottie Scheffler just absolutely laps the field at the St. Jude Championship. You know, this was kind of what we were talking about with Scottie. Like, this is just what he can do, right? He's not typically the guy to win an event by 8 strokes. But when nobody else wants to win, or Scottie just plays the course the way it's meant to be played, he can win an event by 8 strokes.
Especially starts rolling in 15, 20 footers at the rate that he did on Sunday. It's over. You know what I mean? Like, it is over.
Yeah, he led the field in strokes gained putting, gained almost 9 strokes throughout the event with the flat stick. Second in approach, 11th off the tee. You know, didn't have his best performance around the greens, but hey, I don't think it really mattered. He won by 8 strokes. This was a completely uncompetitive event in a lot of ways.
But it wasn't. That's what I thought was so impressive about it, was up until the front 9 Sunday, we had a ball game, man. Sung Jae was right there, Sam Burns. Like, there was a lot of guys kind of flirting with the lead. And then, you know, Byron Ledecky always talks about this, the model maniac, that what makes Scottie so special is he just cruises, right? Like, when his game is on the way it was this weekend, it just looks so easy and effortless. And what happens is players start trying to force things to, you know, keep it up, and they end up redlining, and then they're leaking all over the place, and he's winning by a gazillion strokes, which is what ended up happening, you know, on Sunday. And it was just a good reminder for us that we hold him at a different, I think, level than other golfers, and he's both earned it. And I know at times that seems unfair, but seeing something like what we saw Sunday is why we do, because the sky is the limit. This guy is still just 30 years old. There's only been now 2 golfers in the history of this game that we love to win 21 events quicker than Scottie Scheffler, and it's the 2 greatest golfers of all time. Like, no matter how you want to look at it, Jack and Tiger.
Yep.
So I love greatness. Like, I think it was great to watch on Sunday. And, you know, I was really bullish on, it's the first time I've done a full unit bet all year, especially on a guy to win. But I thought Scheffler at plus 550 in a 70-man field, you know, top 5s at that venue. Like, there was signs that this was coming to 11 top fives in 17 events or whatever ridiculous thing he had done entering it. And he just proved again that the difference between every other golfer on tour and Scottie Scheffler, when they have their A game going, is as wide as whatever ocean you want to say.
Yeah, this is it's officially been 5 straight years where Scottie has as many or more wins than he does miscuts in PGA Tour events.
Awesome.
Like it's just an absurd track record, and it just goes to show, like, he won this event by 8 strokes. It was a phenomenal performance. In terms of data golf points, this is the 9th best performance of his career.
Right.
Like, it's absurd what this man can do on a golf course, and it's a great reminder that, you know, there's been so much talk this year about Scottie's having a down year. He's not winning as much. Yeah, but he also still had one of the most impressive seasons ever, even while that's happening.
Do you think he's player of the year? Do you think he has a legit case? Because I'm starting to come around. Like, I thought it was a ridiculous take when he had 1 win, because I was like, well, he's got to have multiple wins, or I think that's a hard sell. But now that he's got 2 and he's got 12 top 5s, you could talk me into it for sure.
Yeah, I think, especially depending on how the rest of the playoffs plays out, if he gets 1 more win, I think it's a lock.
Game over.
It's pretty much game over. I mean, right now, who do you think is the favorite? Probably Matt.
It would
Fitzpatrick?
be Fitz or Clark, right? I mean, Wyndham, I really didn't know until I dove into it. His last 9 events, goodness gracious, it's like 7 or 8 top 13s, 5 top 5s, 2 wins. Like, Wyndham's playing some golf too. Fitzpatrick's got the 3 wins, right? If you include, I mean, I shouldn't say if you include, it counts with the team win. He's got 3 wins this season, right? Or am I skipping one? Does he just have 2?
My brain's telling me 4, but it's 3. He was the runner-up at the RBC.
So
yeah.
3 wins. Oh yeah, because he won the Players, right?
Yep. He won the Valspar and the Heritage.
Oh, excuse me. Was it Cam that won the Players? Am I getting it?
Yes.
Getting it mixed up now. Okay. So yeah, so 3 wins, that's a pretty good case. But I also think just because you have 3 wins, when somebody like Clark and, Scheffler have multiple wins and they have more good finishes, like, I think consistency matters, in my opinion, for player of the year, because that's what it is. It's like, who's been the best golfer week in and week out.
I think this is the first time in a few years, really, probably since, what was that, 24? Was it 23 or 24 Xander, who was the only player that legitimately had an argument over Scottie for the last few years. And this year is probably the closest. Like, does it go Fitz? Just multiple wins, but they were earlier in the year. There's no major in there. Wyndham gets 2 wins, one of which is a major. Scottie gets his 2nd win and has still laps the field in terms of strokes gained in so many ways. There's just so many routes that it could go. I think if Scottie picks up 1 more win in the playoffs,
I agree with you. It's game over. Yeah.
Even if he doesn't necessarily win, but if he gets if he goes top 5 and Fitzy,
unless they win the Tour Championship. Actually, I should amend that if Fitz or Clark end up winning the Tour Championship, I think they probably lock it up, in fairness.
Or even this week, if one of them wins this week,
that's fair. At minimum, and none of them wins. Yeah,
it gets that much closer, and it's again, we've talked about it repeatedly on this show, just the state that golf is in, where
so good
we can have a superstar, the best of the best, legitimately a top 2-3 player all time in Scottie Scheffler, and we have to have conversations that he may not be the best player this year with 2 wins and an insane number of runner-up and top 5 finishes.
Yeah.
That's
it's the best season, right? And I would say at least 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it's incredible what
guys that have won. There's just been so many fun storylines this year.
Right.
Brent Snedeker got a friggin' PGA Tour win. It's been a wild year, dude.
Yeah, it's been a crazy year. And with that being said, obviously we have the BMW Championship, the second to last event of the main season before we get into the fall swing. So let's not waste any time and start to break this down for the people. So let's get the caddy notes out. Let's have some fun. Bellerive Country Club in beautiful, I'm a Cubs fan. I can't say that too many times. In beautiful St. Louis, Missouri, is the host of the 2026 BMW Championship. This will be the second time Bellerive has hosted, making it just the sixth event to have hosted the BMW multiple times. First time we're seeing it as a PGA Tour event host since 2018, when it was the host of the PGA Championship, taken home by Brooks Koepka. Last time we saw it host this event was 2008. So it's been quite a while.
Wow.
And
I forgot about that. I'm glad you brought that up.
And we've seen some changes to the venue as well, even since 2018. We've seen the course lengthen. They've changed the locations of some of the bunkers. There's been some changes to the venue, but kind of the key talking points of Bellerive Country Club: par 70, 7,450 yards, essentially. One of the longest courses that we've seen this year. On paper, an incredibly difficult venue. The original architect of the venue, Robert Trent Jones, this course was actually renovated by his son, Reese Jones, in 2006 and 2019 in preparation of this event, and as well as the President's Cup coming up in 2030, which this will be a host site for. So we get a very long course playing at a par 70, extremely wide fairways, 34 yards wide on average.
Massive greens, dude. You could take my home, your home, 4 or 5 other homes, and might still not, 7,500 square feet? That's the average.
Yeah, 7,500. Third largest that we've seen over the last 5 years. And I think it's like a multi-way tie with a couple of those. That said, bent grass greens going to play a little bit slower traditionally. Zoysia fairways, fescue rough. So it's an interesting mix of agronomy that the players are going to be dealing with this week. But kind of the calling cards of this long of a course, playing as a par 70. Distance it matters. You have to hit it far to compete on a 7,450 yard course, flat out. Does accuracy matter? Yes and no. For the most part, yes. The missed fairway penalty here, it's like a nearly 40% drop off in greens and regulation percentage from the rough to
it was 26% at the PGA in 2018. Like, that is, I can't remember that big of it. Again, think about the size of these greens. Okay. Like, I think me and Jake could go out there and hit at least 10. But it's 26%. Difference if you're in the fairway or in the rough. And that's probably why we saw only 65% driver usage, right? Was that at the 2018 PGA was people were like, look, I got to get the ball in the fairway. And then such a large number of 175 plus yard shots, 14% from 175 to 200, 14% from 200 to 225, and 16% 225 plus. So that's 45 if you're, not that great at math. 45% of the approaches are coming from 175 plus. We've seen a lot of wedge fests lately with these par 70 venues. Not the case this week.
Not at all. Weirdly enough, in a way it is. Even if players are missing these greens, you see roughly 10% more shots come out of the bunkers than you
75 of them, by the way. There's a lot of traps.
Yeah, on 10% more than PGA Tour average here. Like you mentioned, 76 bunkers around the venue. A lot of them placed extremely strategically as well. The ones that you're going to get around the greens, they're deep, they're weird. They're, especially with these multi-tiered ridged greens that we're going to see a lot of this week, it's going to create interesting shots out of the bunkers for players to get the ball into the positions where they can actually score from them. But the greens that are in the fairway as well, on almost every hole, they're between 280 and 320. They are in prime landing zone area for the current PGA Tour distance.
And tree line. So, there's just all kinds of obstacles off the tee, wouldn't you say? Because it's weird. You go back and look at 2018, ball speed was 4th most important metric, strokes gained off the tee 5th, driving distance 7th, driving accuracy was like 23rd. But what's weird is everything that you read is this is a venue that you better get the ball in the damn fairway. So I'm having a hard time, and it's such a small sample size that it's like, I don't want to get too stuck into what happened in 2018, especially when it was very, very wet if you remember, and extremely hot and muggy. I'll never forget Tiger sweating his ass off.
I saw something
amazing 64 on Sunday.
He changed his shirt like
3 times.
Yeah, like multiple times throughout the day.
Yeah.
So and if you're like me living in the Midwest, you know how brutal playing golf in muggy 90+ degree conditions
Don't want to hear
are.
it. It was 110 degrees is what it felt like today. In Georgia was 75% humidity. So
yeah,
I don't want to hear it.
You get it. You get it too. It's the same. Like we deal with the same stuff when we're out there golfing a lot of the time. And when you're looking at the breakdown, just looking at especially the differences from 2018 to now, it's nearly 200 yards longer. So distance was already important, seemingly going to be even more important.
Yep.
I think because it's not an overly high scoring event, right? Like the winning score here tends to hover around 15 under par, regardless of the iteration that we've seen. It was very similar scoring at the BMW in 2008, very similar score at the PGA in 2018. I think because you don't have to go extremely low, it's taking advantage of those opportunities when you can go low by hitting it farther, by taking advantage of the distance, creating potentially eagle opportunities on these par fives, especially now players are even longer than they were, 8-9 years ago, where a 620-yard hole is reachable in 2 for some guys.
Adam Scott's gained 20 yards.
Yep.
Off the tee basically since the last time he played here. That's ridiculous. And he finished 3rd there, by the way, at the 2018 PGA. To your point, like it's a feast or famine course in the sense that there's 5 holes that are extremely difficult.
Yep.
That's the 210+ yard par 3s, and then the 495, 508, and 521 yard par 4s. Good God. And then you have the 2 par 5s you just mentioned, the 2 short par 4s, which are 394 and 355. And then they have the one like postage par 3, which that's really become a staple now. It seems like of every golf course is like that 160 yard or less. This one's 148 par 3. So yeah, I think you're right that like you got to avoid the big numbers, obviously, especially on those 5 hard holes, but you've got to feast on these short holes. Like you've got to eat up those par 5s. Like I think that's so important. And that's something both Koepka and Tiger, who finished 1-2 at the 2018 PGA, did. I think they both were like 8 or 9 under for the week on the par 5s.
Yeah. And looking at those two is kind of a great example of what matters at this venue, right? Both putt extremely well during the event. Neither were phenomenal with the wedges. Tiger gained a little bit. Brooks was essentially neutral with them. Tiger bested him on approach, much like he did with the putting. Brooks gained 6 strokes with the driver that week. Tiger lost strokes with the driver.
Tiger was hitting it everywhere. I remember like Tiger was big misses, and you got to be careful. There is quite a few holes here that a big miss will pretty much equate to a double. And I think Tiger made 2 or 3 doubles and Brooks made none. That may have been the difference right there.
Exactly. And that's just what you have to understand with this event is like it's very risk reward. There's a lot of ways to play it really safe, and you can for some of these guys that are just looking to round into form, maybe they're going to play it a little bit safer. Guys who have these spots locked up for East Lake next week versus some of these guys that are in that 50 to 30 or 50 to call it 50 to 25 range. Realistically, those guys are the ones who have to play well to secure their opportunity for East Lake next week. You're going to see, you look at this board, right? You look at it from 2018, Brooks, bomber, Tiger, bomber, Adam Scott.
Stewart Sink, bomber. What the hell is he doing up there, by the way? They did not, when you looked at it, go, Stewart Sink.
Yeah. The funny thing is, like, if he putt, he would have been right there. He didn't
Stewart
putt
can hit it. Like, it's one thing, even now, I believe he still is somebody that can really move it on the freaking senior tour.
Yeah. It's, it gives us a really good idea of what we're looking for. It really gives us a really good idea of what kind of players that we're looking for. So since we have all of that in mind, let's take a look at the books here and start to break down our plays for the week. Looking at the books this week, no surprise. Scottie, favorite, zero shock there. Been the favorite in every event this year, coming off of a win. But from there, it gets a little bit interesting. It's a lot more condensed than I expected, kind of at the top. You know, you have Rory pretty much coming off as second favorite. Then Ludwig pretty consistently right there at third. Xander and him essentially matched on most books. Burns now, this number's moved. We're going to talk about it a little bit later. I got him at 20. It's now down to 17 or 18, depending on the book. So moving very heavily. You got Cam Young right there in that kind of 18 to 2000 range. Tommy right there in that 18 to 2000 range. You see a bit of a drop off after that, but very condensed at the top. How do you feel about that?
I think it's just the sports books being smart, and they know this is a 50-man event, and there's probably realistically 10 guys that can win the event. So they just lumped them all together and like, good luck. You guys aren't going to have any fun, jerks.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say we expect one of the top players in the field to take this event home. You look consistently at the BMW Championship. It's a lot of names that you'd expect to be in
2018 PGA, right? Like Tiger at that point was starting to ascend again. He had, was leading the Open. Just a month prior. Brooks was the best player in the world at that point. He had won a major earlier that season. Rahm was right there, one of the best players in the world. It's like, yeah, I think that you're right. This is and not to mention it's that time of year, right? There's a lot. The one thing we don't talk about enough, there's a lot of money at stake here. Like, and these are annuities for these guys, right? Like where they're going to get paid a lot of it after they're done playing, which what a gift from the PGA Tour to these guys. Because most professional athletes, that's the one issue some of them run into is they spend all their money, right? And then when you get older, you're not making the absurd amount of money that you were making when you were, in your heyday. And the PGA Tour, like some of these guys have like $100 million, racked up from, consecutive or, multiple good playoff finishes that when they turn, I think it's either 50 or 55, that's when they start collecting it.
Yep. Yeah, it's absurd the amount of money that is in the professional golf space. And I imagine a lot of ways we're probably seeing the apex of it. I don't know if it'll go up much from here.
Right.
But $20 million is on the line, 3.6 million going to the winner.
Ridiculous.
And you look at the winners here over the last, call it, 8 years. 2017 is an outlier. Mark Leishman, how'd you win this one? I don't know.
No shit.
Yeah.
Like for real. Like that's a great call.
You go with the rest of them.
Things is not like the other.
It's like last year, Scottie, the year before that, Keegan, when Keegan was having a great year. Keegan's a 2-time winner of the BMW. Victor, Cantlay's won it twice. John Rahm, Justin Thomas, Dustin Johnson, Jason Day, Horschel, Zach Johnson when he was kind of in his prime. Rory, Justin Rose, DJ, Tiger. Like it's names we all expect to win. So it would be surprising to see this event won by not an elite player, by somebody who's not at the top of their game. Doesn't mean we're not going to take some shots. I'm going to take some shots.
Right. Yeah, we're degenerates. Of course we're going to take some shots.
I would consider this a shot this week. And this is one of the few plays that you sent me that I am not on, but I'm more than happy to hear the argument on Rory McIlroy 16-1.
I get it. Like, look, people, Scott Porter, my co-host and soon to be official addition to this great channel, he looked at me like I was nuts too. I watched Rory play, looked terrible. I get it. But you're getting him 16-1 in a 50-man field at a venue that rewarded, again, small sample size, but the only event we have to go off of is 2018, and 3 of the top metrics were ball speed, driver distance, and strokes gained off the tee. Correct me if I'm wrong. Rory's pretty good at that typically. He's had his best long iron season probably of his career, which again, that is something that has been very important this season. And yes, I know the recent form's not good. You could talk about motivation, but you're getting him at 16-1 in a 50-man field. Like, to me, that's just an auto bet. And part of that's probably got something to do with when you had a week like I did last week, where it was pretty much every freaking bet I suggested, it seemed to hit.
Mhm.
As you get a little fat and happy, and then maybe you don't make your most strategic wagers. But I do think it's 16-1 in a 50-man field, knowing what we know historically about this venue. Yeah, I'll take a shot. I will admit that I both made this wager and sent the picks and stuff to you before I realized it was 65% driver usage. I thought it was a little higher than that.
I think it'll be higher.
A little bit, because Rory does struggle a little bit historically on courses that he can't, just pound driver out there. But it's one of those deals that if you're getting one of the top players in the world, it's all about motivation. Rory was there last week, so he didn't get fined. Like, somebody on the PGA had a come to Jesus meeting with Rory and said, "Look, man, I know you normally skip this event. We've gone from 4 playoff events to 3. You're already not going to meet the 15 tournament criteria.
Let's at least get you to 14.
We need your ass there, okay? Like, we need you to show up." And so
and
he
Rory
looked
said it too, like,
and out of it, like he looked like he didn't want to be there. Let's be honest.
Rory said it. He gained 12 pounds. He wasn't hitting the clubs. He was taking some time off, enjoying himself, partying maybe a little too much in Ibiza. Saw quite a few videos of him at the clubs out there. So, he
did you really? Please share with us with me.
There was a couple of them that were going around where he was looking a little geeked out, maybe having, in his bag, if you know what I'm saying.
Go for it, Rory.
But I get what you're saying. It's the best odds that we've gotten on Rory all year, period, in a short field event. And he's a guy that we've seen him like have a horrendous week and then come back and just win.
Yep.
Like, if he gets that motivation back and he's got it back and wants to go, all right, maybe I shouldn't show up to an event and finish in the bottom 5 again.
I like this Scottie one too. Like, I do think that there's a real rivalry brewing between these two. If you look the way there's kind of been some one-upments or, circumstances between them over the last like 2 years. It does make me feel a little bit better that Rory seeing Scottie win and just dust the field last week. I think that probably does motivate him a little bit. He'd like to come back and go, don't forget, I've won back-to-back Masters. I've got a career Grand Slam. Like, Scottie, congrats on your 21st win. I did that a long time ago.
And I think if Rory has a subscription to Data Golf and looks and sees that, like I said, that was the 8th most or 9th most Data Golf points that Scottie has ever earned in an event, that wouldn't crack Rory's top 10.
Wow.
So, like, when Rory wins, he wins. But, like, Rory's wins are a lot like that, a performance where it's just, you look at some of the best performances of Rory's career and they come in these big events. It's, US Open, PGA, the Open, PGA, Masters, Players, Deutsche Bank Championship, Players. Like, it's, Rory puts it, like, Rory performs in big time events. That's what he has done. This is dating back, this goes back to, 2011 US Open, PGA, Open Champ. Like, a lot of these events are some just extremely great performances from him. So it wouldn't surprise me to see Rory win. I'm not going to tail it, but I am rooting for it to be correct.
Because it would be good for the game, right?
Exactly.
Like what we're talking about. Like, it would be great to go into the Tour Championship with the top 2 players in the world having each won a playoff event. Like, that would be some serious buzz for the PGA Tour. And ratings have been up. Like, it's the one thing I don't totally understand is, like, event after event, ratings are up, man. And could you imagine if you get a Rory Scheffler Tour Championship, like, duel type deal? And, Rory would go, look, if I win the Tour Championship and he win this week, I'd have 3 wins in a major. Why don't I belong in the Player of the Year discussion? Even though I don't think he would. I think that you could squash that case. But if he gets the 3 wins, he would have an argument.
100%. Next up on the board, a guy that we were both on, or I was on last week. I don't remember necessarily if you were on him as heavily last week, but you're in on him this week. I'm in on him again this week. Sam Burns, as we talked about, I got him at 20-1, now down to about 18-1 on FanDuel, 17.5-1 on DraftKings. But another guy who, like, there comes a point where you can only play this much good golf in a row, and until something has to break Burnsy's way. Like,
read my mind.
When you have just we're talking about a guy historically through his career has been a guy who gains a little bit with the iron. Most of the performance comes from the putter. He typically has good weeks off the tee. But this is a dude who's gained 6 strokes with the irons in 5 of his last 6 events. Clearly he has found something in his game. And his last 6 starts, T3 last week, 3rd at the Open, 12th at the Travelers, 2nd at the US Open, 20th at the Canadian Open, and 4th at the Memorial, coming off of a near top 25 finish at the PGA before that as well. The streak of golf has just been so strong. And then you I run them through the stats that I am looking at in my model this week. Recent form, strokes gained over the last 20 rounds. He's 3rd there. Strokes gained on approach in the last 30 rounds. He's 3rd there. He's 17th in driving distance. In the approach categories of I did 150 to 200 and then 200 plus. In 150 to 200, he's 25th, but 200 plus, he's 7th. He's got the birdie numbers. He's got the bogey avoidance numbers. The putter, especially on bent grass greens, he's 2nd in the field in strokes gained putting. There's just so much about the profile. This is a week where if Scottie wasn't in the event, if he was taking the week off for whatever reason, Burns would be my betting favorite. He's the number 2 player in my model. So to get him at 20 to 1 again, after a really strong performance where it was an event where nobody but Scottie was winning that event at the end of the day, I'm just gonna run it back at that number because I'm not gonna not be on it if it hits at this point.
Yeah, I will say though that I think that we're getting to a point where there has to be some pressure put on Burns that if he does not get a win, I'm concerned about him moving forward because I just read that he has over the last 3 months, it's the best strokes gained total of any point in his career. And if you can't get your first win in a couple of years, I think it's actually 3 years if you're looking at a stroke play event, because wasn't the match play, I think his last win.
Yeah, the Dell Technologies match play.
So it's getting to a point where it's come on, Burns, because I said this to Scott earlier, that you could tell me in a year that, we get to this point next year and Burns has won 1 or 2 majors in 3-4 events. Wouldn't surprise me at all. You could get to this point next year and Burns has still not got a W, and it wouldn't totally surprise me at all because it's one of those deals where he's getting, I think you made a great point. It's the breaking point of come on, dude, I believe in you, Burns. I believe in your game. You're one of the best putters on the freaking planet. And now your irons are absurd. Ryan Noonan just tweeted this. He played 20 events between 25 Travelers and PGA over their 74 rounds, gained 0.05 strokes on approach. Over his last 24, 1.25. Yep. It's maybe the best iron stretch of his career. And we've always said he's always been a great driver of the golf ball, always been a great putter. So it seems like it's got to happen. It has to. I'm rooting for him. But he needs to get a W while he's playing like this. Or otherwise we know that golf's such a mental game.
Right.
If he can't get a W when everything's working for him, I have concerns about what is Sam Burns' career moving forward.
Right. And, I do think it is important to note that as we've talked about the state that the game of golf is in, it's been arguably the hardest time ever to get a win. So, I don't want to, I'm fully on board with what you're saying, and I don't want to. It's not that I disagree, but we've seen Sam Burns win when he was not a top 10 player in the world, and he is currently a top 10 player in the world. I think if this continues into next year, where he's continues to have a great season with the irons, I don't think I can necessarily make that distinction about him right now, but it's putting it on my radar where it's all right, you've got about 20 events left of this stretch where you have to keep playing like this. And if you don't win in a stretch playing like this through about 20 events, it's you may just luck into a win here or there again for the rest of your career. And you're kind of just perma off betting cards for me.
Yeah. I think that's fair. And again, I'm a little disappointed in Sam just because when he won that match play event, if you don't remember, he beat Scottie Scheffler when Scheffler was first at the peak of his powers. It was like the first time that Scheffler was like, oh, this dude is like something special.
Right.
And when he won, I was like, all right, because Burns had won 4 times over like the previous 20 months or something. So like I thought that was going to be the beginning of this absurd stretch. And again, it's so easy for these guys. It's easy for us armchair experts, but they get fat and happy, right? Like where it's like, well, I've won 5 times. He probably made more money than I could ever imagine playing the game of golf that we spend every dollar and free moment we have trying to get out and do. But I believe in his talent. Like I want Burns to win. And I think it would be great if he can get a W right now, because I believe all he needs is just a little bit more confidence and like, look out.
100% agree. A guy who previously was like completely off my betting cards was just a guy I never, ever looked at. And then I hit on him this year, hit on him again this year. Wyndham Clark going 30-1. Yeah.
50-man field. With the way he's playing, what did we say? I said 9 events. He's got 7 top 13, 5 top 5s, and 2 wins, one of them being a major. This was the odds that I was just like, really? Like, that's kind of disrespectful to Wyndham Clark. And I bet that makes him play with a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. Let's go.
Yeah. And a guy the model loves for me this week, 8th in the model. Got him 9th over the last 20 rounds. So recent form is extremely strong. Top 10 in the field in driving distance, top 20 in approach play, 3rd around the green.
Didn't he put well on bent greens too?
Yep. 1st in scrambling and then 4th in putting on bent greens, basically in a neck for neck tie with Colin Morikawa in strokes gained putting on bent grass greens.
Let's go.
Like, yes, there's some question marks in the profile. The recent scoring hasn't been as strong. The bogey numbers aren't as great. The total driving, it's when you play a 30-yard slice and call it a power fade. Yeah. Your accuracy.
He bananas it for sure.
Your accuracy off the tee is never going to be great. However, these are fairways that accept cuts very, very well. Even with there's a lot of spots in these fairways where you can hit the driver exactly where you want to, and it'll roll into a bunker or roll into the rough. But when you can hit these spinny cuts into these fairways, it's draws that are a lot more susceptible to huge rollouts after it hits the ground versus a cut naturally spinning more. It's going to hold its position a little bit better. I think this course sets up a little bit better for cutters of the golf ball. And
I agree.
You look at who's won here. It's cutters of the golf ball. So just getting that on the card, it felt like, again, just the number was a little too soft for me. When you have a guy like him who's won multiple times this year, and then you have him right around Patrick Cantlay, who's not having a great year, all things considered. Hideki, who's not having a great year. Justin Thomas is right around there, who's working his way back from injury and was never really expected to do a whole lot this year. To have that number right in between all of these guys, it's like when I'm picking out a range and we're starting to look at this range, it's like, oh yeah, there's a clear option here for me, and that was Wyndham.
Yeah, there's only 4 players in the entire field that are above average in total driving, tee to green, approach, and comp course history. He's one of them.
Yep.
And I mean, those 4 guys, it's Oberg, Scheffler, Clark, and Burns.
Yeah. Pretty good group to be in, if you're asking me. Next up down the board here for us, Jake Knapp, 40-1. I think another one that you and I are both on. My approach here was basically just, I needed to see him get back to the play he had earlier this year. And I saw that at the St. Jude. And that's enough for me to give it a chance at this number. And even in an event where we don't necessarily expect a guy coming in with not the best form overall, factoring in multiple events for a guy like Jake Knapp, but you're looking at a range where it's like, Knapp's a guy where if the number gets to 40, I'm kind of just clicking it.
I mean, again, in a 50-man field, come on. You okay, buddy? Sorry, Nico's having a little coughing fit.
I know the feeling. I'm dealing with a little cough over here myself. So
see, Jake feels your pain, buddy.
The cough button is getting a workout today for me.
I love this play. I mean, I'm completely with you that it sucked that his season got derailed, right? Like by the injury, because you've highlighted
it was
so much.
It was
this
career year
season.
for Jake Knapp.
Yeah, he was really hello world kind of season. But for me, what it's all about is such a good long player. Like, I mean, he is such an elite. Like, again, what did we say? 45% from 175 plus this season on tour. He is 6 from 175 to 200, and he's 4th in the field from 200 to 225. So that's good. And then the other big one, strokes gained off the tee. We know that played important there. He's 8th over his last 16 rounds. And one that we did not mention enough, but 31st in 3-putt avoidance. Avoiding 3-putts is huge this week, because when you are putting on a 7,500 square foot green, you're going to have some testy 2-putts. I get into this with my dad pretty frequently when he's cussing himself going to the next tee box. Can't believe a 3-putt another hole. I'm like, well, that was 100-foot 2-putt, Dad.
Right.
So I'll give you 5 balls, and I bet maybe you 2-putt that bad boy twice. There is levels to those kind of things. And this week, avoiding 3-putts, I think, is going to be huge just because of the side of the greens. Knapp does a really good job, not just at avoiding 3-putts, but just putting in general.
Yeah, he's one of the rare players that the longest and shortest club in the bag are the 2 best clubs for the player. And even last week, he didn't putt that well. And
he putted bad. It held him back like a little bit.
Still recorded a top 10 finish in a short field event in during a stretch where he had missed cuts in 3 of his last 4 starts. So we're getting him in an event that, like, on paper, he should fit this course extremely well.
And he needs a good finish, by the way. I didn't realize that now he has fallen to a point in the standings that, like, he can't mess around. Like, he's got to have a good performance or he's not going to be making the top 30.
Right. Yeah. He's at 35th right now. So he's on the fringe there. Good performance out of him, secures his spot at Eastlake. Based off of how he started, like, through the Masters, it was a foregone conclusion that he was going to be.
He's having to fight for it. It's just the injury.
Yep. So really rooting for Knapp this week. Elite first name, elite driver swing. Really rooting for it here. Next up is this is one of those plays where I know it's not going to work, but I can't talk myself out of doing it. Michael Brennan, 60-1 over on FanDuel. Brennan is Michael Brennan last week, right? Like, it was.
He's fat and happy. I don't ever hold somebody after a win like their results against them. Like, that's just, to me, that's unfair. Like, it's such a huge deal to win a PGA Tour event. If you're not a Scottie, Scheffler, Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, whoever, I don't care how good you are. Like, it's a big deal. Like, it's hard. It's one of the hardest things in the world to do in professional sports. I don't hold it against you if you have kind of a letdown the week after.
And I'm not even necessarily, like, holding it against him. He was the epitome of Michael Brennan's season last year.
The problems. Yeah.
Like, just statistically, he did not have a good week with the irons, so he did not have a great performance. That said, this is a course where if you are an elite driver of the golf ball, you have a distinct advantage here. When it's on, there's arguably 5 guys in the world who can match Michael Brennan's prowess off the tee. Gives him an edge there. He's still putted well last week. He's been putting well over the last few weeks. Things are good in that direction. Around the green, he still struggles. Doesn't really matter as much this week as we've talked about. He just has to get the approach play back in line here. And when I'm looking at him in the model, right, like, this is another one where I just can't ignore what I'm seeing. 3rd in the model. 8th strokes gained total over the last 20 rounds. Recent form, elite. Last 30 rounds, top 10 on approach. 4th in driving. The approach numbers, once we get to 200 plus over the last 30 rounds, there is not a better approach player than Michael Brennan in this field.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with any of that. And the talent, again, it's a 50-man field. You're getting a guy that just won a PGA Tour event, 2-3 weeks ago. And he excels at a lot of the things that, it's a small sample size. I get that. But from what we learned from 2018, the last time in here, like, he checks a lot of those boxes.
Yeah, I'm running it back. It didn't work last week. I said last week much of the same things. Things have to go right for Michael Brennan to win this event. I'm not going to be sad if he doesn't win. I'm going to be pissed if he wins and I wasn't in on it.
What was his odds the week you called his win?
That was, what was that? That was the Wyndham, right? So
60, 70,
yeah, it was like 61 to 1, I think.
Yeah. So, okay. And again, if you're going to be doing this for a long time, and I hope that all of our listeners do, and they're, obviously going to be listening to the show every week, you got to remember that, right? Don't forget that you got a 60 to 1 return on this guy's win. So, don't be afraid to bet him, and don't get upset if it doesn't work out.
Exactly. Especially in an event like this, once the number gets past like 30, it's an event where there's, like you said, 10 guys who were expecting to win this event. There's maybe 5 more throughout the rest of the field
who have the talent
to do it. And I think Michael Brennan, when all parts of his game are working, is one of those guys that has the talent.
100%.
Now, next up, I'm out.
It's all right.
But I like it at the same time. And you have Adam Scott 65 to 1 over on FanDuel now. Good number. He's playing better of late, which is certainly helping this. And my guess is probably going to be, from your perspective, he played well here in 2018 and is 20 yards longer than he was when he played well here.
And he's still an excellent long iron player, which again, it's 175 plus. And Scott he has a history of playing well at certain venues. That's sort of what he does. And typically those venues highlight, long iron play. So here we go. And the other thing is his putting has been awful this year, right? Just straight terrible. The 3-putt avoidance is actually the one thing that almost made me not back him even at this 60 to 1 number, because it's rough. But he's also a guy that he does have these spike weeks putting, and Scott is still a good enough ball striker.
Had one last week.
If he has a spike putting week, look out. And I'm getting him 60 to 1 and a 50-man field that he finished third in. Maybe event history matters. I still go back and forth on that. He's 8th and strokes gained total for BMW Championships. So he obviously feels good about this event in general. And the other big thing is he eats the par 5s, which I just think so huge. And he is actually a really good scrambler, particularly from the rough, which let's say it plays harder than we're expecting. And all the rain and stuff that they got in 2018, that was why scores got as low as they did, because I think there was only 6 guys that got to double digits. Let's say it plays a little harder and the winning score is more around 8 to 10 under. That scrambling number could come even more important. And like I was saying, again, the long iron number is still ridiculous. He's 10th on tour for 200 plus, 6th from 175 to 200. And as you so beautifully put, he's driving the ball 318 yards. I don't know what he's having, but I'd have some of it.
I'll take a little bit of no, I'm not going to say I'll take a little bit of the sauce, because I don't want to imply Adam Scott is on steroids, and I am technically on steroids. But yeah, I'm just going to I agree fully with what you're saying here. And he's one of those guys, he's played so well this year without putting basically ever. And then he's coming off his best putting performance of the year. Sure, why not? You kind of talked me into it a little bit. Probably more DFS wise than betting market wise, but
I only did 5 outrights this week, and I wanted to include a guy of more than 50 to 1, and that's where I ended up. Ironically, the guy that you're about to mention was between him and that person.
Yeah. So the guy I'm about to mention, when I first looked at the number, it was 80 to 1. And I was like, I like it, but I wish there was a little more juice there.
And that's where it was actually when I was looking.
And then I opened FanDuel and saw that I could get Gary Woodland 100 to 1.
Jump that much.
And I clicked instantly. The argument here is not very strong. He is 25th in my model, so he's smack dab in the middle here. I'm going to make the argument with just about one stat, maybe 2. He's number 1 in the field over the last 24 rounds in total driving.
Wow, I did not know that. That's a great one.
Pretty good. 5th over the last 30 on approach from 200 plus, and was top 10 and in this event last time we saw it.
6th. Like top 10, forget that he was 6th. Let's go.
Well, it was like a 6-man tie for 6. So
I know, but it sounds better saying
it does.
6. So that's why I'm saying.
It definitely does. But yeah, like is there a lot to be concerned of here with Gary Woodland? Absolutely. He's 47th in the field in my recent form stat, which is the just strokes gained total over the last 20 rounds. 43rd in approach over his last 30 rounds. 49th around the green over his last 30 rounds. 38th in scrambling over the last 30. But the putter's trending in the right direction. He's top 20 in that number for me. He's top 20 in terms of comp course history for me. And then just the driving number and the iron play. Like we saw it earlier this year when you just kind of get Gary Woodland on a course that he feels comfortable on and the aspects of his game fit what that course needs, we get a win like we got out of him at the Texas Children Houston's Open. I'm just going to take the shot because why not?
What is it like? Well, we'll talk about it in just a second, but like I bet his top 5, top 10, and top 20 odds have also gotten really juicy.
Oh, yeah.
If he's all the way up to 100 to 1 to win.
Top 20, you can get him on FanDuel at plus 185. So the top 20 numbers this week are like
there's only 50 guys. You're not going to get much. Yeah.
But getting him to top 10, you're getting him 6 to 1 to top 10 on FanDuel and 14 to 1 top 5.
Yeah, I love it. You know, Alex Fitzpatrick is 2 to 1 to top 20 on FanDuel. That was one of the ones.
That was an instant click for me.
Yeah, me too.
Yep. Parlay right into that. Some of those other top 5, 10, 20 plays. I'm doing a Fitzy ladder this week on Alex, getting him 15 to 1 to top 5. Course that he's 12th in my model. Like this course fits his game really, really
Great
well.
Long iron player, hits the driver well. Yeah.
6 to 1 to top 10 for him, and then 2 to 1, like you said, for that top 20. I might even go a 40 to 1 first round leader. I kind of like that. Number 2. I don't first round lead a lot.
40 to 1 first round leader for like the bottom of the field in a 50-man field. That's interesting. I didn't know they were that juicy. I need to look at the first round leader odds.
Yeah, it was like I saw that and I was like, I haven't done it yet, but I am just once things settle a little bit more and I, get a little more time to look at the bankroll in the book tomorrow, that's one of the ones that's probably going to go in there. But so that's a really juicy number. Some of the other, placement numbers that I really like. I heard you talking to Scott on the 2 Off the Tee show. The Sung Jae numbers, juicy.
Very good.
I'm probably
plus 150 top 20. Like to me, that's a smash.
Yeah.
Are you agreeing with me too about the parlay in a 50-man field, like to lump some of these bets?
Oh yeah.
Together like that. I really like that. Like you could take again, Thorbjornsen's plus 125, Scott's plus 145, M's plus 150. You throw just those 3 together, you're gonna get like 7.5, 8 to 1. You throw Fitzpatrick in there, who's 2 to 1, you might get 10 to 1. So like
throw Norn in there as well, another guy.
Yeah, that's another one. Yep.
Like right there, I think
he's almost 5 to 1 to top 10. That was one of my favorite plays this week.
Yeah, like I think the top 10 market and top 5 market this week especially are juicier because it is such a condensed field and a top heavy. I don't want to say top heavy field because there's like 8 guys in the field who aren't in the top 50 players in the world. Like
Woodland's 14 to 1 to top 5. Like that's ridiculous in a 50-player field. And an event that again he finished 6th last time he played it.
Right.
A venue.
And it's like you have to go much farther down the board than you would think for guys that like you can make an argument, I think, for Ryan Fox in that top 10 range.
And he's almost like second to last in the field, right? In betting odds. I know he was at the very bottom.
Yeah, it's low. And for that top 10 number, like only Akshay, Aaron Rai, Echeverria, Poston, Hisatsune, Cole, Straka, Thagala, and McCarty are lower for a top 10 finish. So like looking at that range right there, like, yeah, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, the top 5, I completely agree. Like literally on my betting cheat sheet for fantasysixpack.net, which I apologize, it's later than normal, but it will be up in the next hour. That's what I talked about in the notes was just I mean, Sam Burns, you're almost getting 2-1 to top 10. Have you seen the heater that Sam Burns is on? And I'm getting almost 2-1 odds just for him to top 10. Same thing for Wyndham Clark's getting close to 3-1 odds to top 10.
Not anymore. He was.
Did it go down?
It's like 2.5 now.
Oh, sorry. I wish I would have put that out there earlier. Sorry about that, boys.
It's all good.
And then again, like Wyndham's almost 6-1 to top 5 with the run he's on. It's a little disrespectful if you ask me. And then Knapp again, 10-1, who we both think is somebody that trending in the right direction.
Yeah. Certainly a lot of great values to be had out there. Speaking of one more great value before we wrap up
the Jake Knapp annuity fund, are we going to talk about that a little bit?
Yes, we are going to talk about the Jake Parry annuity fund, aka our
Jake
friends.
Knapp. I just called you Jake Knapp. What a compliment.
Hey, I'll take it.
Hell, I
Elite
would
first
too.
name. He's a little bit of a better golfer than me, but
just a little bit, buddy.
I've got time. He's older than me technically.
That's right.
But gonna give a shout out to our friends over at FantasySpin.
Spin, pick, win.
Oh, I almost had it. I almost had the transition down perfectly. One of these days, I will get it correct.
You're kicking me off the show. What a dick.
Nope. I'm not trying to. I'm working. Technology, not my friend today. But you know what has been
my
friend
any day, so don't feel bad.
My friend has been FantasySpin.
He won another one last week, ladies and gentlemen. Good
another
God.
main event takedown for me last week. Was not the lineup that we spun on the show, but it wasn't too different.
It's kind of a surprising lineup, the one you sent me. Like I was going, wow, that would have not been the first lineup I looked at and goes, yeah, that's a winner. But
right, it goes to show. Yep, when you get the right guys in the lineup, good things can happen. The main event this week over on FantasySpin looks a little bit different. It's a 5-spin event. So I think, just due to the 50-man field.
I like the way they adjusted that. That's cool.
Exactly. Keeping it a little bit tighter. But FantasySpin, for those of you who are not familiar, have not seen any of my wins or any of the other benefits of this app before. It is a new DFS experience that combines the skill of drafting DFS with a gamified experience similar to a slot machine. You can hit the jackpot. You can win big. You can play for free, play for money, whatever you want to do over on the app. Got a ton of different sports, MLB, NFL, PGA, NASCAR, NBA, NFL right around the corner will be on there. NHL was on there. You get everything over here on FantasySpin. So we're going to spin through one of my main event lineups for this week.
I'm looking forward to the NFL. I'm not going to lie. I didn't get to do it last year.
Neither did I.
About FantasySpin, but I didn't try it. And what makes me feel bad is I did a couple. I think I did. Yeah, it was last year with Colby. I actually went on and did one of the spins things with him, but I didn't have an account. And I'm very excited to do some football this year as well.
Yeah, it'll be very, very fun. And to give yourself a little bit of a head start going into the NFL season.
Oh, that's right. Get you a little.
For this, if you sign up with the link in the episode description and use code IBT Golf and deposit at least $10 and play one event, you will get $30 in credits deposited into the account. So
we're only asking for 5% return on any winnings from that money you get. So
yeah, especially
fair deal.
It's fair. It's fair. Come on. We're giving you great advice over here. And we're going to show you exactly the process I go through when spinning a lineup right now.
I can't wait to right off the bat. You get like Scheffler, Rory, because we know what it's up. Oh, what did I say? What did I say?
But yeah. We're just insta clicking. We're insta locking Scottie. With this being a shorter
click, right?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Even though it's a short spin event, I think there's still value to be had if I don't get Noren.
What is his rank? I'm sorry, I can't say. They have him 40th? Wow, I disagree with that.
But that's the fun of this, right? That's where you can get creative with FantasySpin is I do my own projections. A lot of people do their own projections. FantasySpin obviously does their own projections similar to every other DFS site that you play on. So it's about taking advantage of the discrepancies that you may have via the projections that you see. You saw with Scottie here.
Cole 25. That's also interesting to me right there.
Yeah. So we're going to go through my next spin here. I do like Goddard up this week. I like Smalley this week. I'm going to lock in Goddard up here. Another guy, like I talked about with Wyndham, long drivers, guys who can hit it a mile, but also play spinning cuts.
He loves bent grass greens. Just get him off of Bermuda, and he is a happy man. I mean, he is like spoke to the media about how excited he is to get off of Bermuda greens. I remember after the Florida swing.
Next spin here.
There's some more bombers.
It is. I think now, given there's only 2 spins left, I'll go ahead and lock in Noren.
Like that leaves the other 3 open.
Leaves the other 3 open. You could have talked me into Sepp Straka last week. Not touching him with a 10-foot pole this week.
Nope.
Not touching him with your lineups this week. Don't put Sepp Straka in there. And I'm going to say that he's in the top 5, and I'm going to look like an idiot, but it's fine because I'm going to
Oh, you lucky mother.
We get Thorpe. We get Woodland.
You're going to take out Noren and put Thor in? Because, like, Woodland's got to be in there. Do you put Thor in over Noren? Because
I'm going to.
I do like Thor this week a lot. That was one of the few people we did not mention.
And then let's see. Can I get lucky on the last spin?
Oh, I don't know. Can he?
Akshay.
Pretty good.
It's fine. Good. It's not the most exciting. It's projected to finish 8th based off of lineups.
The stars are my favorite. Well, look at the projected finish to 8th. Pretty good.
Yep. So we'll take that. One of the other nice things about FantasySpin, it doesn't matter as much, right? With golf, it has come up a few times over the last year or so where we have a player withdraw after lineups lock. With FantasySpin, if a player doesn't play for whatever reason, if it's a golfer and they withdraw from the event, if it's a NASCAR racer, they withdraw and they're not able to drive. If it's a football player, they get hurt. You get their projection no matter what. So
more sites need to do that. Okay, like huge kudos to FantasySpin for not 100%. Just stealing people's money. I mean, we give enough, right? Like on these sites, and I really do appreciate so much that if you get screwed and a guy gets hurt early in the game, they're not going to just take your money. They're going to give you whatever's projected. And that's in all sports.
Yeah, it's a great feature, and it's one of the reasons that I love FantasySpin. As I've talked about, I've had a lot of success on FantasySpin this year. Even when I go through stretches where I'm not winning or I'm, making a little bit of the money back and I'm not, necessarily profiting the taking home the main events or the one and dones, whatever that may be. It's still a great.
That 1 week, is that what you're talking about?
No, there was a stretch there. It was like kidding. 4 in a row.
Kidding, Jake. But he has it's unreal.
I've taken down like 6 or 7 of them this year.
It's
so.
Crazy.
It's been very, very fun. And like I said, you don't have to just be a golfer or a golf fan. They've got MLB, NFL, PGA. There's different events that you can enter. So they've also got the one and done going on this week. They've got the head-to-head contests that are going on this week. There is quite a bit. You can go through just like with DraftKings or FanDuel or any of the other DFS sites that you use. They do certain, specific round events. So they have a round 2 event that you're able to enter if you just want to go on the round 2 side versus the full tournament side. There's plenty of different options for you over at FantasySpin. So again, the code is IBT Golf, and the link is in the episode description. But
5%, don't forget that.
Don't 5%, forget
whatever winnings. I'll send you my PayPal/Venmo here in a little bit.
Perfect, and I'll share mine as well. It's I think actually it's not linked to my Twitter anymore. But stop doing that. But guys, that has been another week over on the 19th hole. We thank you guys all for tuning in. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We have a ton of short form content coming your way, as well as our regular shows, especially as we get into the fall swing, continuing throughout the fall with these shows and with the other content that we're going to be bringing you guys. So make sure you do not forget to subscribe.
Excited about the future, buddy. Thank you for bringing me on. I'm excited about Scott coming on. And
yes, sir.
We've got some cool stuff ahead. So
absolutely.
We appreciate you guys.
We do, and we appreciate you as well, Keith, and we appreciate all of you for watching. So for Keith Flemming, I'm Jake Parry. We will see you all at our next tee time.